a single full-time worker could afford a house in more than half of Aussie suburbs. Now, fast forward to today, 2025, and that figure's plummeted to just 16% nationally across the board. But what's going to happen is the people that can be more efficient and do better using AI in their work, their wages are going to go up. And the people that can't, their wages are going to go down. Like, for example, listen to this. This is amazing. I mean, if you're in AI, right, you're working in AI, Meta at the moment, guess what the signing bonus is if you move over and just sign up to work for them? 100 million US. Why are people not going to be able to afford to buy a home in the future that haven't got a home already? I'll tell you why. Government, because we've got a super cycle coming up and we've got so much immigration and we've got such a shortage, and the shortage is getting worse every year. This has never happened in Australia before. This is the first time it's ever happened. We are live now. Hello, this is George Markowski and Adol Albright coming to you live from the Money for Life podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about why most Aussies will never own a home. See, most young Aussies now, today, the Aussie dream of owning a home, it's not going to happen. It's shocking. And especially when you think about how easily our parents and grandparents did it. But it's getting harder. But this is the truth. If you're feeling like home ownership is getting further and further out of reach, it's not your imagination, it's actually reality. And importantly, it's not your fault. The odds have been stacked against you. I want to go through why this is, what's been happening, what's up for the future, and stay to the end because I'm going to pull back the curtain and then I'm going to show you what you can do about it, which is even more important. But before we do that, I'm going to show you the state of the nation and talk about what's happening and give you some stats and what's been happening here with home ownership. Have a look at the screen.
There we go.
Now look at this. The 15 most unaffordable housing markets in the world. Hong Kong is number one. Not surprising. But then look at number two. You got Sydney. Then you got San Jose. Don't even know where San Jose is. Do you know where that is, Adam?
It's in the States, isn't it? San Jose?
San Jose. See, it's not Jose, it's Jose. I can't even spell. Then we got Vancouver, Los Angeles, Adelaide, Honolulu, San Francisco, Melbourne, San Diego, Brisbane, London, Toronto, Perth, Miami. Now, I was recently in Miami, and I was in Los Angeles and Miami recently, and I can attest to the prices there. I was staying in Newport Beach, and it's a beautiful suburb. It's lovely because I love the beach and I love the warm weather. And the medium house price in Newport is 4.5 million US, right? Pretty crazy. Now, when you look at this number, 15 most affordable housing markets, there's a bit of a caveat. I'll let you know what the caveat is. They're not looking at the average square meterage of a house here. They're just looking at median house price and looking at wages compared to it. What you have to understand is here in Australia, our houses are big, very big. And so it's not apples for apples, but it's still a telling sign. And Australia's freedom is under attack. See, in 2017, a single full-time worker could afford a house in more than half of Aussie suburbs. Now, fast forward to today, 2025, and that figure's plummeted to just 16% nationally across the board. Every state has seen a dramatic drop. So what used to be a cheap for one salary is now requires two. And even that might not be enough. If you look at this graph, what's happening is because prices have gone up compared to the wages, it's harder and harder. So what I mean by Australia's freedom is under attack. We used to be able to in Australia have one person working, one staying at home, and you could easily afford a beautiful house in the suburbs, a car, a holiday, and everything else like that. But now, most families, if both people work, type in the chat if you're a single income or double income. Type in D for double, S for single. I'm just curious. Let's do a bit of a poll here. I know I'm a D. A double D, Andrew, even better. D, D, S, D, D. Yeah, so look at that. Lots of double Ds. I mean, lots of Ds, right? So I don't know where that came from. From
Double D on the mind.
Yes. So basically, it's all Andrew's fault. Basically, I would blame Andrew, right? Lucky, if this was 2 years ago, I'd get cancelled now. I'd be like Joe Rogan. I'd be the end of my show, right? That'd be it. Luckily now things have changed. Hopefully I won't get cancelled. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Next week I'll get replaced by someone else saying, "Hello, I am George."
Artificial.
Yeah. So that's what's happening at the moment. And look, I mean, there's a lot to this because obviously we've got more equal rights and women want to work and everything else like that. But the fact of it is, um, one salary is not going to cut it these days. There's more competition. Now, the funny thing is, most things have gone down, are cheaper. You think about cars, dollar for dollar, they're a lot cheaper now than what they were 20 years ago. TVs, air conditioners, gone down in value. But the thing is, what have we got now? We've got a lot more subscriptions that we pay for. We've got Netflix, you've got Amazon, you've got Spotify, you've got all these other subscriptions that everyone pays for. My Aura Ring I'm paying for. There's so much subscription services, but a lot of discretionary spending's gone into property. But Australia as a whole, and this is part of the reason it's unaffordable, is the collapse of the Australian real wages. So if you look at this, real wages, and this is the important thing, right? Because you've got to adjust for inflation. So Aussies adjusted for inflation are earning less today than over a decade ago. And even by the RBA's own forecast, we're not going to claw back lost ground until 2040. That's a long way to wait, right? Because you look at real wages, they were at a peak 2020. Look at that. And then they just dropped. And now look what's happened. Now I'll tell you what's going to happen in the future. This is what's going to happen. We've got AI coming in, and AI is going to replace a lot of jobs. And if you think AI is going to take your job, it's not going to take your job. But a person that's good at AI with AI is going to take your job. But what's going to happen is the people that can be more efficient and do better using AI in their work, their wages are going to go up. And the people that can't, their wages are going to go down, right? So wages are up, but the cost of living is way up more. That's the problem. So it's not that wages are down, they're certainly up. But the gap between what we earn and what we spend has exploded. And
Well,
that's,
I think the minimum wage went up about 3 days ago. It's
yeah,
now sitting at just under 50 grand a year as a minimum wage.
yeah. Well, look, wages are up.
Mm.
So are costs because of inflation. See, what's happened is inflation has eaten away our purchasing power. That's the challenge. It's great when you get wage growth, GDP growth without the inflation, but we've had massive inflation. And then you've got rental affordability, which is becoming less. And what's happening now is people are spending, on average, 33% of their income on rentals. So
Compared to what, 18, 19?
that's right. So you look at here, back in 2020, it was 26%.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it goes up and down, right? And you look at back in 2012, it was 31%, and now it's 33%. Now, really, at the end of the day, 2% is not that huge, even though it looks big on this graph. If you really looked at it by percentage-wise, it's not that big, right? Does that make sense? But it's something to look at.
It is. Yeah.
Now, this is the other thing. Australia's housing boom is leaving younger generations devastated, right? The younger people, they're finding it harder to buy property than anyone else, right? Price growth has gone up quite a bit. And this is just showing housing price growth from January 2020 to 2025 in capital cities over the last 5 years. So you look at this. So you look at Brisbane, 453,000 in 5 years. Adelaide, 410,000. Now, this is very interesting to see what's happened over the last 5 years. And I'll tell you why. Because you've got some place like Melbourne, 160,000, and the national average is 340,000. And what's interesting about this, Adam, is when we look at some of the property deals that we do and how much they've grown in the last year or two compared to 5 years in Australia, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing. So even regional has gone up, but there's been a shift as well.
But that's, yeah, because people could now work away from the office now.
That's right. Because before COVID, I actually wasn't a fan of regional. And there was a lot of reasons for it, but one of the reasons was I saw regional as hard because if the industry in the region went down, then it's going to affect property prices. But see, accessibility changes everything, right? It's a bit like if you've got an orange tree and you can only reach the oranges down the bottom, and the ones at the top are really dangerous and hard to get, then the ones up the top are really not worth that much. And you're not going to go for them unless you have to. But if someone invents a ladder, what happens to the oranges at the top? They become accessible, right? So it changes things. So what COVID did with people working from home, it made it possible that you can live anywhere. And therefore, that's evening out the playing field when it comes to residential property prices. What also it's doing, and it's been doing this for a long time, there's been a long-term trend, it's been destroying the commercial market. Now, new house price boom has begun as well since the last RBA went down. Now, Albo's building approvals, embarrassment has intensified, right? He's just not happening. We're not getting the building approvals that he wanted. And you look at our vacancy rates, they haven't changed. Month for month, they're about the same as what they were a year ago. So no improvement at all. Now look at this. This is the interesting thing. So why are people not going to be able to afford to buy a home in the future that haven't got a home already? I'll tell you why. Government. It's our government and the government policies, nothing else. So I'll lay it squarely on our government and immigration. Look at this. Australia's forecast cumulative national housing supply. So the government has said we want to build more houses, and
We need to build more houses.
we not only need it, but the government promised they would.
Okay.
Part of their policy, they said we're going to build more houses. But look at what the forecast is. Cumulative national housing deficit. Instead of it going down, as in less deficit, it's actually getting bigger every single year and project to get bigger. So the undersupply is just growing through the roof. Now, interesting thing, Aussies are leaving Melbourne and Sydney. And guess where they're moving? They're moving to Brisbane. Look at Sydney, look at Melbourne. Population outflow, huge. They're moving mainly to Brisbane, regional New South Wales, and regional Queensland.
Well, mate, I got sent a report. It's actually called Suburbs Where House Prices Grew Over $100,000 in 6 months.
Yep.
And the top 10, there's only one. They're all in New South Wales. And they're talking in suburbs like Sylvania Waters. The median house price is 3.1 million. It's gone up 597,000.
Yeah.
You know, South Coogee, median price, 4.4 million, gone up 400,000. Bronte, 5.9. Man, who can afford a mortgage $5.9 million just for somewhere to live?
Yeah, but the thing is, you got to look at proportion too, right? So the thing is, like, you got this property that's worth 4 million going up 400,000. It's gone up 10%.
10%.
Right? Not a huge amount, but because it's worth so much money, it's massive.
That's why people are moving. You sell your $4 million house in Sydney, you can move to anywhere and get yourself a really nice house for half that price.
Exactly. And that's the thing. So it's interesting because you and I have both been doing a little bit of regional Queensland and New South Wales. And then you look at the stats, is backing us up. Happens every time, which is pretty cool, right? So that's what's happening, the affordability. So what can you do? This is the question people want to ask and answer, I suppose. The main reason property is not going to be affordable is because we've got a super cycle coming up and we've got so much immigration and we've got such a shortage, and the shortage is getting worse every year. This has never happened in Australia before. This is the first time it's ever happened. And the message I want to go out there is say to people that haven't bought a property, whether it's their owner occupier or rental property, investment property, you need to get off your ass and get in there before you miss it forever. There's people now listening to this podcast, watching us right now, who might be sitting on the fence and they're wondering, should I wait? And the people that don't do something and get their ducks in a row and get into the market, and there's going to be a lot of them, they're going to look back towards now and think, God, what an idiot.
Wish I did it.
They're going to regret it for the rest of their lives.
Well, the Queensland government's changing the threshold from 750,000. They're now putting up to $1 million in September, October.
For the
Even
tax,
the government's
land tax?
No, for your first home buyers.
First home buyers, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, should be clear. First home buyers. They put the threshold up from 750 to 1 million.
Yeah,
So even that, the government is even expecting prices to go up.
that's right. That's right. So this is what I suggest. The people that are watching the public channel, because we're going to go to our private group now and talk about some of our successes and what we've done. I've got a few here. You've got a few new ones, but I've got a few that I had to catch up with anyway from last week. So I'm going to go through these. Oh, this is an interesting one. It says, when could Aussie housing be affordable? And what they did, this is a silly article. What they did is they said, let's imagine wages grow 3% every year and house prices slow to just 2% and interest rates drop to 4.75%. Now, there's three assumptions here. I'll tell you what, when you have three assumptions, forget it, because they're all
Yeah.
three are wrong anyway, right? So it doesn't mean anything. But at these assumptions, because I would say housing growth is going to be more like 5 to 7%, and wage growth is going to be uneven. And depending on what sector you're in, it might grow up quite a bit. Like, for example, listen to this. This is amazing. I mean, if you're in AI, right, you're working in AI, Meta at the moment, guess what the signing bonus is if you move over and just sign up to work for them? Just have a bit of a guess, Adam.
No, like $5,000, $10,000?
Yeah, so a lot higher than that. I'll tell you what the number is, 100 million US.
What do you mean?
Okay, let's say you join Meta and work on their AI team,
Yeah,
your senior role. They pay you 100 million just to start the job with the company,
to come over.
just to come over from OpenAI or Google or wherever else you are, because there's a
Yeah.
lack of people, there's a lack of staff. So they're bribing people with $100 million paychecks, not the paycheck, just the signing bonus. That's
Mm.
more than the F1 Formula driver. Isn't that amazing?
Imagine the paycheck they'd be on as well.
I reckon the paycheck's lower. I think it's just they're paying a lot to get them to move. Just massive
Okay.
incentive because if you pay them 100 million each every year, how many staff can you get? You
No.
you,
How much
you
money have you
couldn't
got
you
in your
couldn't you
pot?
couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. But I suppose if you spent, you've got, let's say you got 30 staff, there's $3 billion just to get a really good team on board.
Mm.
Now the thing is, at the moment, the current spending on AI, the investment is $1 billion a day.
I believe that.
That's
It's
huge. That's
ridiculous.
never seen anything like this. It's huge. It's big. So yeah, so these affordable. When will it be affordable in Australia? Sydney, not 2096. It's a long way away.
Mhm.
But the point is, it's not going to work that way. And what I suggest is, don't wait till 2096 or
It
2066.
won't happen.
Invest now and do something because it won't happen. You're going to be priced out of the market. That's right. And that's just ridiculous. So I'm going to go through some member wins now before we end the podcast. Then we'll go to our private group and talk about some recent deals that we did over the last couple of weeks. Okay, so Dave from Vic, he bought in Caboolture 2024, priced at 482, deposit 48,000, current value 618. So $136,000 profit. That's 282%.
Good vulture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's an orange belt. So what an orange belt means, that means you got your second property. Cameron bought 495,000. Bannockburn now is valued at 800,000. He's made 305,000 profit. Because you were talking before about Coogee, where a $4.5 million property went up 400 grand.
Yeah.
This is a $495,000 property going up 300 grand.
Yeah.
What a difference in return. It's not apples to apples. It's such a difference. Tara and Ross, they paid 549,000 Monopara. Now it's worth
In
771.
24, that was only a year ago.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. In 1 year, they've made 161 grand.
Mm.
Now, 161,000 for a deposit of 55 grand is pretty awesome. They're a brown belt, which that means they've probably got about 7 or 8 properties now, which is pretty amazing. And they've made
Mm.
nearly 300% return on that. And Charmaine, one of our coaches, she bought in Capalaba, 419,000. That was 2020. Now it's valued at 819, 400,000. So it's basically doubled in less than 5 years. People that are watching live, type in #own if you want to own a property, and my team will reach out to you or send me a DM. That's what you should do. And number two, educate yourself and learn about this before it's too late, because that's what needs to happen. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Next Thursday is the RBA. And look forward to having a chat about money, finance. And okay, guys, thank you so much. See you next week. Bye-bye.